Hello and welcome to Insights to Opportunity. I'm your host, Carlicia Wright, Director of the Office of Business Opportunity. As a part of Mayor Nice Parker's vision to create a competitive and diverse business environment in the City of Houston, this program will provide information on contracting opportunities, events, and resources that educate, connect, and grow local, small, minority, and women-owned businesses. On today's program, we have the Public Works and Engineering Department. It's one of the largest departments in the City of Houston and provides many of the basic services Houstonians rely on daily. Each year, the Public Works and Engineering Department awards millions of dollars in contracts. Here to talk with us today about the future opportunities is the Public Works Director, Colonel Dan Kruger, and Tony Henshaw, Manager of the Small Business Development Group. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
So, Colonel, tell me, while the city's asleep, you've got more than 4,000 employees and hundreds of contractors that are helping keep the city running. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Certainly, and it is a matter that our infrastructure is so important in being the foundation to city. We have Houston, the fourth largest city in the country here in the 21st century. If you go back millenniums, infrastructure has been important since Rome, even more than 2,000 years ago. What the department is responsible for is serving Houston citizens daily with regards to providing the streets and traffic control systems to move throughout our city, the storm drains to carry away water when it rains, and it does very intensely, periodically here in Houston, and then very importantly to provide water which we need each and every day and to take away sewage in a sanitary manner when we're done using it.
Wow, that's a lot. So you've got more than 4,000 employees. What types of solicitations and opportunities are there for businesses to partner with Public Works to help serve the city?
Well, the 4,000 employees are really the core or nucleus of the team and focus in being the operators and maintainers primarily. But we need a lot more help beyond just our core 4,000 employee team, and that comes from contractors, service providers, and certainly suppliers that provide the equipment, material, and supplies for those 4,000 team members to work. So our procurement opportunities really come in the arena of construction opportunities, either for the replacement or the expansion of our infrastructure systems, for various service opportunities, particularly in the professional services that support our planning and engineering, and lastly in the supply category, again with those materials, supplies, and equipment.
So let's talk about your commitment to the small business community. I understand that you've got Tony Henshaw here, the manager of your Small Business Development Group. Can you talk a little bit about what Small Business Development does in the Public Works and Engineering Department, Tony?
Thank you, Carlicia. Public Works Small Business Group was created to help the department. As the director just said, it's a huge and complex procurement need that the department needs, and Public Works Small Business Group comes in to help the director achieve those procurement needs. We reach out to minority groups, reach out to small businesses, and avail them of those opportunities that we have in Public Works. But more importantly, Small Business Group help the director executives in understanding the procurement needs and help them navigate all the procurement requirement by the city ordinance.
Okay, can you guys share some of the accomplishments that Public Works and Engineering has had working with small businesses? I know that you guys have done a great job in partnering with smaller businesses. So can you talk somewhat about that?
Well, and if we take a look, and we do watch how we're doing all the time and how much of our business is going to small, minority, and disadvantaged businesses. But overall, in the fiscal year that we've just completed, more than 33% of our construction procurement went to small businesses. More than 45% of our procurements and services in the professional services category went to small businesses, and about 10% of our supply purchasing.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a great job. You should congratulate. And so folks can understand what those percentages mean. What's the annual Public Works budget, procurement budget? How much money do you spend on contracting?
In the construction area, we're doing almost $500 million each year. In the professional services area, we would be doing in excess of $100 million a year. And in the supply category, probably a little bit less than $100 million per year. It is big business. And we would seek always to get the best value that we can so that we can serve Houstonians most cost effectively. Small businesses are important in us achieving that best value.
Okay, great. Now, I know a lot of folks assume that Public Works has construction, and you talked a couple times about professional services opportunities. Can you talk a little bit more about that and how you go about identifying professional services firms? It's not the same competitive process, I understand. So can you explain that to the public?
Right. We procure professional services in an annual process, and we do it basically on a qualification-based selection process, which is actually required by state law. But essentially, every year we decide what new engineering contracts we need to write to procure various services, and then we go out on an annual trip to the market, if you will, by publishing all of our requirements, for the most part, on the website with regards to requests for qualifications from anybody who would be interested in providing those services and is qualified. Then we take a look at the submissions that we receive in response to those requests for qualifications and make the selection of the best qualified firms for provision of the various services, and then negotiate contracts with the selected firms.
Okay, that sounds, it sounds like a very interesting process, but I'm glad that you got 45%, you said, was the participation?
That's our participation rate last year. We just announced last week, in fact, selections for 64 upcoming contracts that we would intend to enter into. We had as many as 135 separate firms submit as prime contractors to perform those services, with many more firms involved as subcontractors, and many small and minority businesses within that pool of subcontractors, as well as in the primes. And we do have a substantial number of the firms that were selected as potential or intended prime consultants.
That's great. Now, for a business that hasn't yet done business with Public Works, can you talk about how, a smaller business would find out about opportunities, who they should call?
Well, they can call the Small Business Development Group hotline. It's 832-395-2516. And then also we go out into the community and try to disseminate information about upcoming opportunities. We have alliances with other advocacy groups in the minority and small business community where we share upcoming opportunities with them. On the engineering side, we usually would help them understand the need to submit the PW 100 on time. It's more of a resume of what the qualifications of your company. Also to get them registered as a small business with SPD, so we provide this information out to the minority firms.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today on Insights to Opportunity and sharing Public Works opportunities.
Thank you for having us.
So that was Public Works and Engineering. Have you ever wondered how to find opportunities in the private sector? Our next guest is just the person to tell you about those insights to opportunities. Coming up next, we have the President and CEO of the Houston Minority Supplier Development Council. Thank you. Welcome back to Insights to Opportunities. While the Office of Business Opportunities' core mission is to help small businesses gain access to government contracting, we have a sister organization that assists minority businesses with opportunities in Fortune 500 companies and other private sector firms. The Houston Minority Supplier Development Council, also known as HMSDC, is a not-for-profit organization for minority businesses and major corporations interested in establishing relationships with entrepreneurs and helping them gain access to their opportunities. Richard Hubner, president of HMSDC, is here to talk to us about how you can take advantage of becoming certified with HMSDC. Dick, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Carlicia.
Now, can you talk a little bit about what HMSDC does and how long you've been around in the community?
Sure. So we started in 1973 by 13 Houston-based corporations, and the intent was to reinvigorate the economics of the minority communities by creating viable businesses in those communities, by major corporations fueling the growth of those businesses with their expenditures, so that as those businesses grew, they would create jobs, economic self-sufficiency, a broadened tax base for the community, a lower tax rate, and increased purchasing power for other goods and services. In essence, creating an economic engine that would fuel the community, city, state, and nation. Today, we're an organization of 148 major corporations and right over 800 minority-owned firms, certified minority-owned businesses that share a common mission to increase and expand business opportunities and business growth for minority-owned businesses.
Wow, so you guys have been around almost 40 years. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you've been around for 40 years, so you've seen some of the challenges minority businesses, have faced. Can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges and how your organization assists them with those efforts?
Sure, growing a business is tough stuff. Starting a business, okay, people do that day in and day out. Actually succeeding in business, only 20% of the businesses make it past 5 years. And then growing a business into larger and larger contract opportunities represented by maybe Fortune 500 companies is really tough stuff. And so having organizations like the City of Houston, Office of Business Opportunity, the Houston Minority Supplier Development Council, to really help work with those firms, to help them understand the process, to gain insight into a marketplace that oftentimes appears closed to them, to understand the dynamics and the processes involved in penetrating a marketplace, and then putting together surrounding the business with the resources and support necessary to achieve long-term sustainable growth. That's hard stuff, but it's important stuff.
Yeah, it is important stuff. I mean, I think one of the things is where would, I guess the big question is why do they need organizations like the Office of Business Opportunity and HMSDC? I mean, why do minority businesses need us? I mean, would they be successful?
I think principally it's access to opportunity, access to the understanding of how the marketplace works. So we have a lot of businesses in the council that are working to have a better understanding of, okay, where do they bring value? How do they bring value? How do they develop those relationships in the private sector, maybe as opposed to the public sector where you have sort of the opportunity to compete? In the private sector, you have to earn that opportunity, and that's by bringing a better value proposition to the table. Well, that's hard to do if you don't understand what the customer's needs and interests are and their processes of doing business. And so the Houston Minority Supplier Development Council brings you into regular contact with the decision makers that can help you understand what it is they're getting, most importantly, what it is they're not getting from their current suppliers, what their particular emerging needs are, so that then the minority business can go empowered with that information and bring them a value proposition that is so compelling that people would dare to do business with them. And then also building that relationship between people of trust and understanding that allows people to do business together.
Wow, that's just what we do as well, Dick.
Yeah.
Now, how I know how you get involved with HMSDC, but can you talk to the audience and tell them how they would become a member, a minority business out there, if they're interested in becoming a member of HMSDC or being certified? Can you talk about what that process is like?
Sure, absolutely. Our programs and services are available to any certified minority business, and the certification process, like the City of Houston's, is relatively easy. It seems a challenge, but it's simply completing an online application, submitting documentation on your company so that we can validate that it is 51% or more owned, managed, and controlled by one or more minorities, in our case, that are also U.S. citizens. With that certification in process, the entire array of programs and services are available to you. So it seems like a tough process, but a 20-minute online application, a copy job of documents, and then we go to work in actually reviewing the documentation, doing the on-site visit, and then presenting the reports to a committee who will then make a recommendation to our board of directors. All of that should be able to be done 20 days.
Okay, great. Well, we just made it even easier. I'm going to announce that we have a memorandum of understanding. As sister organizations, we're always looking for partnerships, and just recently, after just many years, we've fast-tracked each other's certification. You want to talk a little bit about that and why that works for your companies and why it works for companies that are certified for the city?
Sure. Oftentimes, because certification is not a process everybody wants to go through repeatedly. And so this is an opportunity. I really praise the City of Houston and Mayor Anise Parker and yourself for really taking the initiative to say, let's eliminate a lot of this duplicity. Let's eliminate a lot of duplicate paperwork. If you're certified by a legitimate organization, let's honor that certification so that we can get on and expand the opportunities for the businesses that have committed to the program by becoming certified. So if you're now certified by the Houston Minority Supplier Development Council, I know you have a track record of 7 days taking that certification application through the City of Houston. That's phenomenal. We intend to honor that commitment on our end and be just as efficient, so that if you've been through the process once, there's no need to go through it again. You validate that information, we accept it, we validate it, you accept it, and so we can get on and really broadening opportunities for minority businesses in both the public and the private sector.
That's right. So for those of you that are already certified with the City of Houston, please be sure to ask us and inquire about fast tracking with HMSDC. We look forward to fast tracking your application. Additionally, let's talk about the exposure that you offer to companies. I just recently attended an annual event expo, and it looked like it was almost 1,500 people that was there. Can you talk about what those events and how they help folks connect to opportunities?
Yeah, we're really blessed to have very strong support by major corporations and their prime suppliers within the Houston area. So at Expo, as an example, they brought out 1,300 decision makers to have face-to-face access with minority businesses. Now, I know it's a age of social media, but ultimately in business, you need to come face-to-face with the person that ultimately is going to make that decision. And so Expo, in that particular case, provided that. Our other array of programs, whether it be serving on a committee or Emerging 10 luncheon that's coming up, or other events that we do, are all designed to bring you face to face. Half the people at our events are corporate decision makers that ultimately make contracts, and they're the people that can feed you the information and whose relationship you need in order to really grow your business. So we had over 600 businesses at the Expo, minority-owned businesses, linking up day to day. We had over 250 one-on-one sessions around specific upcoming contracts. So I would say the corporations are serious about growing their spend with minority businesses that are serious about growing their income from major corporations. Houston Minority Supplier Development Council is a great place to meet.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today, Dick. And I think the one thing that we learned about it is network, network, network.
That's correct.
Yes, thank you so much. There you have it, folks, HMSDC. Coming up next, we have a small business to talk about his success. We always like to hear from our small businesses when we return. Welcome back to Insights to Opportunity. Small businesses make up more than 90% of the businesses in the country. Learning how a business has been successful can help others. Here to talk to us about that is Domingo Medina, president of DG Medina's Construction. Welcome to the show, Domingo.
Thanks for having me here.
Of course.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about how your business got started?
Well, it was always been a dream for me to have my own company, and I feel like I have the proper training and the experience necessary to provide a good product for my customers. So I'm very excited about it, and I started my own company in 2008.
Okay, so you started your company. What did you do before you started your company?
I work as a project manager, as a director of construction, and construction work with large general contractors.
So you worked for how many years did you work in construction?
15, 20 years.
So 15, 20 years, and you said, you know what, I can do this.
Yes.
And so doing it, you are doing it. So let's
Yes.
talk about your journey in small businesses. Has it been easy?
No, it has not been easy. It has been very interesting, though. It has been very interesting and very rewarded. Yes, I'm
Okay.
very happy.
So can you talk about some of the challenges you faced and some of the accomplishments that you've had so far?
Sure. We have worked for as a subcontractors and as a general contractors as well for some companies, and we have worked for at a project at the Intercontinental Airport, about $2.3 million project that we just finished in April. We had done some work as a subcontractors for the Stanaker Library in, on the east side, and also for Lone Star College. And one of the challenges that we have seen is the our cash flow and the constant work it's been a little hard for us to continue and have a constant work, steady jobs for all our people.
As a minority business, talk about, what some of your challenges as a minority business has been and what certification. You're certified with the city, correct?
Yes.
And
yes.
so how that's helped you as a minority business?
It has helped me tremendously. I think with the certification with the City of Houston has given me the opportunity to bid large projects with large general contractors and also small projects as a GC. And I think small companies, they can have a little bit of challenge getting the certifications that they need, but it's fairly easy, the process, in my opinion. With the City of Houston, we're certified with the Port of Houston, HISD, TxDOT, and so it has been fairly easy for us, a fairly easy process.
Okay. So you talked about a $2.3 million contract at Intercontinental, and so the airport is a hard place to get a contract. Can you talk about how you learned about that opportunity and how you, and where you are in that process now?
Well, we heard that this particular company was looking for a subcontractor, a minority subcontractor, and we went, we introduced ourselves, we bid the project, and we were told that we were very close to their bid, and we talked about it, and we got the contract awarded.
Okay, and so you're working on that project now?
We actually completed the project in March of this year.
Okay.
We were there for about 2 years. We completed the project, and DG Medina Construction were there successfully for 2 years without having one single accident, without any problems, and I think our client is very happy with us. And as a matter of fact, we have bid another project in the same at the same area, in the same area for the airport system, and we have the potential to get another $1.5 million project. Yes.
Oh, congratulations! That
Thank you.
sounds great. So it
Yes.
seems like you're keeping your company going and moving with contracts. Can you talk a little bit about? Tell us about your company. How large is it? How many employees do you have?
We currently have about 21 employees, and sometimes we use some subcontractors. We provide work as a general contractors and on a small projects, and as a subcontractors for large general contractors. DG Medina Construction specializes in site work, demolition, concrete work, foundations, and utility work.
Okay, great. So talk about some other opportunities. You said the airport, but you've done work other places since you've been certified, and you started in 2008.
Yes, we have done work for another large general contractor for Lone Star College, for the City of Houston on the east side of town. And we received a phone call actually last week to bid another project for Reliant Energy. And that's through the certification for the City of Houston. It's something that we always ask, how do you hear from us? How do you contact us? And they tell them, well, you're certified with the city of Houston, and therefore we'll give you a call, and this is another opportunity to work as a general contractors. And in 2011, 2010, DG Medina Construction, we were able to obtain a $500,000 bonding capacity. At the beginning of this year, we were able to obtain a $1.5 million bonding capacity, increase our bonding capacity 3 times, which we're very happy about.
No, that's great. And so you do hard work and you keep everything going and you can increase that capacity.
Yes.
Can you give some advice to other small businesses that are starting off? You know, there's someone out there that is starting a business and they haven't had the same success you've had. Can you give some advice to those businesses?
I think I can probably say about 2 or 3 things that they need to do, and we need to do as a small business owners. And one is to have a well-developed growth plan. Okay, that will give you the map and show you where you need to go. With that, I think the second one is to have an exit strategy. Once you are in business for yourself and you are attaining or acquiring the goal that you want, you have to have an exit strategy. With that, I think you can pretty much see where you're going, and if you divert from the goal, if you don't have a plan, then there is no really a map to follow. And the third one is to be very detail-oriented on your work, and be very sure of yourself of what you have to do and the product that you're providing to your clients. And as well as work very hard.
Well, thank you so much for that, Domingo. Well, there you have it, folks. We just had Domingo Medina from DG Medina Construction here to talk about his success and the advice he gives: work, work, work. Thank you for joining us today on this show of Insights to Opportunity. Until next time.